All right, let's just jump straight into it. The world of software engineering is going through a massive, massive change. I mean, the ground is literally moving under our feet, and what the job looks like in 2026 is going to be almost unrecognizable. We're moving away from an age of handcrafting every line of code to an age of orchestrating intelligent agents. And trust me, that changes absolutely everything.
And look, this isn't some sci-fi thing that's way off in the future. It's happening right now. A staggering 42% of all new code is being generated by AI. Just let that sink in for a second. Nearly half of the digital infrastructure being built today started inside a large language model. The scale of this shift is already huge.
But there's a catch, and it's a big one. This incredible new speed comes with a hidden cost. It's created this powerful and honestly kind of dangerous productivity paradox. Yeah, we're moving faster for sure, but are we actually moving smarter? That's the real question we need to dig into.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. The data here tells a fascinating and kind of scary story. We're merging pull requests 20% faster, which, hey, that sounds amazing, right? But hold on, look at what it's costing us. We're also seeing a 23.5% jump in production incidents. Code duplication is up an insane 400%, and security flaws have just skyrocketed by over 300%. Yeah, this is way more than a simple trade-off. This is a full-blown quality crisis hiding right under our noses.
So, what's the bottom line here? We've basically traded stability for speed. We can ship features at a blinding pace, but that pace is faster than our ability to maintain what we've already built. And the result? We're creating systems that are brittle, insecure, and just drowning in technical debt.
So, how do we get out of this mess? How do we escape this paradox? Well, the answer isn't to slow down, not at all. It's about changing our role. Fundamentally, it starts with a new identity, a shift from being a writer of code to something much more strategic. Let's see what that looks like.
Think about it like this. The old way, you were the writer. Your whole value was tied to your fingers on the keyboard, memorizing syntax, cranking out lines of code. But the new model? Now you're the director. Your value isn't in typing, it's in thinking. It's about your ability to define a problem with perfect clarity and then orchestrate AI agents to actually build it. You're not on the factory floor anymore, you're in the control room. And this analogy of a film director? It is absolutely perfect. A director doesn't run the camera or deliver every line. Their job is to hold the vision, to guide the experts, the actors, the cinematographers, and make sure every single piece serves the final story. That is exactly what building software is becoming.
So what this really means is that a lot of the skills we used to pride ourselves on, they're basically becoming commodities. Things like writing boilerplate from scratch, remembering every obscure API call, or just mindlessly translating a spec into code. AI does that now, and it does it faster. It's not that these skills are worthless, not at all, but they're no longer your key differentiator.
Okay, so if those old skills aren't the main thing anymore, what is? Well, this new director role really stands on two new, absolutely critical pillars. These are the skills that are going to separate the great engineers from the merely good ones from here on out.
First up, and honestly, this might be the most important one, problem shaping. This is the art of taking a vague, fuzzy idea, like, hey, build me a dashboard, and breaking it down into a super precise, totally unambiguous set of steps that an AI can actually execute without messing it up. The less ambiguity you provide, the better the result you're going to get. It's a direct relationship.
And this isn't some abstract concept. It's a skill you can totally practice. You start with the end goal, and you work backwards. For every little step, you define the inputs, the outputs, and what success looks like. You just keep breaking it down until there's zero room for error. And here's the ultimate litmus test. Could a brand new junior hire, someone with zero context, take your plan and execute it perfectly? If the answer is yes, you've nailed it.
All right, so if problem shaping is the what, then the second skill, context design, is the how and the why. It's all about enriching your instructions with that dense, high-quality information that the AI needs to do a good job. Stuff like user personas, architectural constraints, examples of tone. You know the old saying, garbage in, garbage out. High-quality context is the only way you're going to get high-quality results.
So here's a little checklist you can use. Before you fire off that prompt to an AI, just stop and ask yourself, who am I building this for? What are the weird edge cases I need to worry about? And critically, how are we going to actually measure if this thing is successful?
Giving the AI this level of detail is what turns it from a dumb code slinger into a real collaborator.
Okay, so even if you become a master at problem shaping and context design, orchestrating AI at this new scale, it brings a whole new set of risks. You absolutely need a technical safety net, a system that can automatically catch the mistakes that are, let's be honest, inevitably going to happen.
And here's why this is so important. Just think about the sheer volume of code that you're now responsible for, but that you didn't personally write, line by line. It's exploding. Of course, human review is still important, but it can't be your only line of defense anymore. You just can't catch everything by hand at this speed.
And get this, a recent study gives us a massive clue about where to look for these mistakes. It found that a whopping 94%, 94, of compilation errors in code generated by LLMs were type check failures. That's a huge majority, all pointing to the exact same kind of problem.
So what does that tell us? It makes the conclusion pretty much unavoidable, right? Type systems, languages like TypeScript, they're not a nice-to-have anymore. They're not a style preference. They are the essential safety net for working with AI. They're like a strict contract that forces the AI's code to play by the rules of your system.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. The whole industry is voting with its feet here. Just look at the insane growth of typed languages. TypeScript, up 66% year over year. Luau, the language Roblox uses, is up a massive 194%. This is a clear signal. This is where we're all headed.
Okay, so we've covered the new role, we've covered the technical safety net, but there's one last piece of the puzzle, and this one's all on you. It's about your ability to actually think, to focus.
And this is kind of scary. Research shows that the average amount of time we spend looking at one screen before switching has dropped to just 47 seconds. 47 seconds. We're living in a distraction economy and our attention is the product. And trying to do that high-level director work in that kind of environment, it's basically impossible.
So what's the antidote? It's a concept called deep work, famously coined by the author Cal Newport. It's about getting into that state of pure, distraction-free concentration where you can push your brain to its absolute limit. That's where the magic happens. That is where you do the problem shaping and context design that an AI could never ever do. This is where your true value lies.
Getting into this state, what some people call flow, it's a skill, and you have to work at it. It means literally blocking off focus time on your calendar and defending it like your life depends on it. It means making sure the task isn't too hard or too easy. And maybe the toughest one for a lot of us, you have to learn to be bored again. Put the phone down, let your brain heal from the constant stimulation.
And I think this quote from the absolute legend, Kelsey Hightower, just ties it all together so perfectly. Mastering this new world, it's about patience, it's about being able to go deep into the details, but then also pull back up to see the big picture, the high-level strategy. And it's about doing that over and over again.
So let's leave it on this final thought. AI can write the code. For sure, it's getting better every single day. But can it ask the right questions? It can build whatever you tell it to build, but it can't know what's worth building. It has no empathy for the user. In 2026, and for the foreseeable future, that ability to ask the right questions, that is the human skill. That's where the real value is.